Oh boy, what a game, guys. The Toronto Raptors and Oklahoma City Thunder go to two overtimes. The Toronto Raptors, it looked like they were on the verge of pulling off this massive upset. They were 8.5 point underdogs. They were up by as many as 23, but OKC somehow comes all the way back, survives, wins in double overtime, and we're going to talk about it. Before we dive right into it, do me a solid, everybody, hit a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more over here on the Raptors Nation YouTube channel. We just hit 1K subs on this channel, guys, so thank you so much for your continued support. So I don't even know where to start with this game, but even though the Raptors lost, it was a disappointing loss because they had a lot of chances to win this game, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. There were a lot of positives from this. The Toronto Raptors, I mean, they opened up this game looking to make a statement. Way different performance than the one that we saw in Houston. The Raptors looking like a completely different team. They had a healthy barbecue back in the starting lineup. Barrett back quickly. Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, Gary Trent Jr., the starting five. And the Raptors, they came out gunning, outscoring OKC 33-23, then outscoring them again in the second quarter, carrying a lead into halftime, absolutely stifling the most explosive team in the NBA, a team that likes to shoot threes, a team that likes to score a ton. Raptors doing so many good things. Like I said, we're up by as many as 23. It really did look like the Raptors were going to pull this one off. I was sitting there watching this game like, wow, the Raptors, they're about to really upset the number one seed in the West and a team that they're essentially trying to become in the OKC Thunder, an example of a rebuild going very, very well, better than expected. And now you see how dominant of a team OKC is. One of the best home teams in the NBA, a team that's only lost 6 times on their home floor. They were getting worked by the Toronto Raptors. But you knew a run was going to happen in that second half, and it did. OKC coming out with a pep in their step, starting to hit their threes, hitting their shots, getting down the floor, playing at the type of pace that they wanted to play at. I feel like the Raptors really controlled the tempo of the game. Second half, I mean, it took Darko using a bunch of timeouts to try to stop the bleeding, but OKC would not be denied, making a massive comeback, roaring back, outscoring the Raptors in that third, 34-24. And then this game coming down to the wire in the fourth quarter as the Raptors, I mean, look, given everything, they had a chance to win this game essentially 2 times. They had the final shot at the end of the fourth quarter, and then they had the final shot at the end of the first overtime. At the end of the fourth quarter, Raptors, I thought, executed a nice play, but RJ Barrett, extremely tough shot over Chet. I mean, you're not going to hit a 3 over the outstretched arm of Chet Holmgren. It's going to be difficult. It was. Barrett misses the 3, comes off rim. We go to overtime. And then in overtime, the Toronto Raptors had a chance there to win it at the end. Again, had the ball for the final shot of the overtime frame. They run a play. I don't know what it was. Scotty Barnes, ball in his hands, holds up, doesn't make an aggressive move to the basket, simply just lets up and gives it to Gary Trent Jr., who has to force a tough shot, misses. We go to a second overtime. And then in that second overtime, OKC took over, and they end up winning this game by 8 points. And you go back to the overtime frames, I don't know what the Raptors were trying to do, and I really don't know what was up with Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes, I mean, this is supposed to be the guy, right? This is supposed to be who the Raptors are rebuilding around. So you want to be in these situations where you can give Scotty the ball in crunch time, in clutch moments, because we know the Raptors are in a rebuild/tank. They're going to be in a lot of one-sided affairs, but when you have opportunities where you are going up against teams as talented as OKC and it does come down to the wire, you want to see what your young players are going to give you, your best players are going to give you in crunch time. And Scotty Barnes, I mean, in overtime, it's like he didn't want the ball. I really don't know what was going on with Scotty Barnes. It was like Emmanuel Quickly was just dribbling, and Scotty looked like he wanted no part of it. Scotty Barnes, guys, in 2 overtime frames, took 1 shot, and it was an air ball. His body language was off, and it just looked like he didn't want it. And, obviously Darko, a lot of questionable play calls as well. I really don't like what he drew up at the end of the first overtime frame. Should have probably drawn something a little better for Scotty. And again, that play resulted in Scotty just letting up on the play, letting up on his dribble and giving it up to Gary Trent Jr. But yeah, I really don't know where the eagerness, where the aggressiveness was from Barnes in both overtime frames. Because if Scotty Barnes looks to find his offense, the Raptors win this game in overtime. It's as simple as that. Because you look at, the other play in this, I thought RJ was really good. And it really is good to see RJ back, looking at some positives now. RJ Barrett, I think, just elevates this team. You could tell, when he's in the lineup, he just adds another dimension. And he's a guy that can be aggressive. He was 9 of 16. Yeah, he, missed some threes, but he had 23 points. I thought Quickly was good, down the stretch. I know he struggled with his shot, 7 of 22 of 9 from three. Did take a bad shot as well, led to an OKC three on the other end, which tied up the game. But, Quickly at 17 and 11. And then Gary Trent Jr., you never know what you're going to get from him. He did have 16. And then Jakob Poeltl had 19 points, 12 rebounds. He was really good in this one. And then Dennis Schroeder, going up against his old team, had 19 from off the bench. So, look, you couldn't have asked for a better performance from the Toronto Raptors. I know this is a sour loss. It was right there for the taking. But at the same time, they had no business being in this game. They had no business winning this game. And at least they were able to take it to the best team in the West. So, in a game like this, the Raptors lose, but there are some positives to draw on. But now going back to just like the thing about Scotty Barnes, yeah, I just want to see Scotty Barnes be more aggressive. Scotty Barnes, we know he's a good talent. He can impact the game in so many ways. 9 assists, 7 rebounds, a block, was a +4, 8 of 15 from the field. His 3-ball came back, which was good to see, 3 of 5. But yeah, I just wanted to see more from him in overtime, in both overtime periods. Again, you have this situation where you're going up against a talented team. You want your best young player to really show you something and to at least want to have the ball in his hands and try to make something happen. But it looked like Scotty did not want to be involved. And, it came down to the other guys trying to make plays and try to win this game, which ultimately it didn't work in that second overtime frame as the Raptors fell short. So I'm not pinning this on Scotty. I'm really not, but I just wanted to see more on him. But overall, I mean, the Raptors had their chances. They really did. They were up by 20 plus points. No reason why they should have let OKC back. I thought their defense was outstanding in that first half, but second half, it was hard for them to contain OKC for all 4 quarters. And the defense just allowed a lot of easy looks. They weren't guarding the 3-point line. OKC had a ton of easy open threes that they made. Even the play to tie up the game, which, late in the fourth quarter, which then the Raptors missed it with the RJ Barrett 3. That was way too easy for OKC to get something at the basket. So OKC, you got to give them a lot of credit. That's what good teams do, right? They find a way to win, even when they don't have their best of games. They were only 36% from deep, 47% from the field. The Raptors did play solid defense, but their defense slowed down a little bit, and you could tell these guys were gassed, and they just were done chasing OKC all night, as OKC did eventually get some good looks, and they went down. As OKC, they were able to hit 23 threes in this one, shot a ton of threes. They shot 63 threes in this one. Unbelievable number. Hit 23 of them. A big reason why they were able to make that comeback in the second half. You look at assists, OKC was +2. Raptors had 38 assists in this one. Obviously, their assist streak ended in the previous game against the Rockets. Points in the paint, Raptors were +8, did a much better job protecting the paint. And like I said, they had that big 23-point lead, just couldn't hold on to it. So the Raptors lose. And look, I know this is a disappointing loss, but at least they were competitive. At least they showed you some good things. They showed you some fight. Complete opposite from that debacle we saw in Houston. So these are the types of games you want to see. And I think the Raptors are going to be a lot better now that they do have, a healthy Barrett, Quickly, and even Poeltl back in the lineup. You can see how much better this team becomes when they have their pieces back. That is it in terms of this post game, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this one, Raptors Nation. Hit a like, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for more. Raptors will be in action tomorrow when they take on the Pelicans on the second night of a back-to-back. That is it for me. It's Lucas signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Stay safe.